Thank you for attending my PowerPoint presentation on Microtransactions game. From Clash of Clans to Fortnite to Overwatch, microtransactions are a part of gaming ever since online gaming established digital purchases. But why are microtransactions so popular anyway? Well, my first point is that games are more expensive nowadays. Games that today, especially AAA games, they aren't just coding. They require massive teams: designers, artists, writers, animators, QA testers, motion capture actors, voice actors, sound engineers, and more. Add high-end technology like advanced engines, realistic physics, AI systems, and cinematic cutscenes, and suddenly development budgets soar into the tens or hundreds of millions. Not to mention that games, especially live service ones, are updated constantly to fix bugs and content. Multiplayer servers, bug fixes, seasonal content, and expansions require ongoing staffing. Microtransactions fund this continued support without forcing a permanent price hike for the best game. Microtransaction helps spread the financial risks of inherently making a video game, allowing studios to recover investment faster and fund future projects, my apologies. Because the thing is, if you're not profiting from a game and you're making just enough to break even, then you're not really going to make another game publisher to make it. Alright, guys? Especially because back in the day, when you had a bug in a game, you were just screwed. And if a developer even wanted to make a patch note, we saw this a lot in the fighting game scene. They would just release another version of the game that you had to pay full price for because it was a balance patch. Think Street Fighter 4, and then Super Street Fighter 4, and then Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade 2012 edition, and then Ultra Street Fighter 4. You had to pay for each of these games, by the way. Was not fun. Well, for my second reason why microtransactions are in every game, they're easy to make. They are very easy to monetize. Adding a few purchasable skins, boosts, or loot boxes is far cheaper than creating an entirely new game or making a new content update. Development teams can leverage existing assets for microtransactions, making it an efficient revenue stream. Fortnite does this all the time. Most of their skins are they use the same model, that being one of the default skin models, and then place a new skin on top of that. Very efficient, very highly monetizable. Microtransactions allow studios to monetize beyond the initial purchase of the game or the initial download of it, obviously if they're free to play. A single game can continue generating months or even years after launch, sometimes exceeding the original sales revenue. This is why every game wants to be live service, because instead of making money when they first start the game and then teetering off quickly, they can make consistent revenue for years upon years upon years. Example: World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite counts. Fortnite is pretty old. This is getting damn near a decade old. You feel old yet? More importantly, microtransaction loops exploit psychology: impulse buying, sunk cost fallacy, scarcity through limited time events, flashy cosmetic rewards, and just one more purchase dynamics keeps players spending. These strategies allow microtransactions to monetize rapidly, sometimes even more than the sales of the game itself. Now, for my third reason on why microtransactions are in every game, there are just more markets. Emerging markets are exploding. Regions like Africa, Southeast Asia, China, Latin America are seeing a massive rise in gaming adaptation. China is already a big player in the game industry, but markets like Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America are seeing a massive rise in gaming adaptation. Players can't afford $60 to $70 games or $500 for a new gaming console or PC parts, especially when you consider import taxes and whatnot that makes these things prohibitively expensive and scalping. But small microtransactions, often $1 to $10, are accessible and appealing. Online multiplayer games use cosmetic microtransactions to tap into social dynamics. Rare items like the Dragon Lore Op in Counter-Strike, Seasonal content and competitive fear leaderboards create fear of missing out, also known as FOMO, prompting purchases so players can keep up with friends or feel included. You don't want to be the one guy that's rocking a deep skin, or maybe you do. I can't control you, but you know, more importantly, games are no longer regionally confined. What works monetarily in one country can succeed globally with microtransactions, making it a universal financial strategy for developers. We all joked about the guy that said, do you guys not have phones? And the BlizzCon where Diablo Immortal was released, but consider that Diablo Immortal has already made $500 million by 2023 and is the second largest grossing Blizzard game to date, the first one being World of Warcraft. And now, for my final reason, people keep buying them. Players are conditioned to spend. Once a player buys a microtransaction, they're psychologically primed to buy more, sunk cost fallacy and all that. Even small, repeated purchases add up over time, forming a reliable revenue stream. Especially right now, whales aren't everything anymore. Early microtransaction models relied on whales, big spenders that spent hundreds on individual packs. But now even casual players contribute consistently. Frequent small purchases by a large sum of players often surpass the profits of the occasional whale. Obviously, if 5 people spend, I don't know, $10 on the game, let's say, I don't know, a month, it's definitely going to beat the one guy that's spending $100. I think? No, it's like 10 or 11 to 10, 11 to 1. My math was wrong, but whales aren't everything anymore. More importantly, behavioral reinforcement through things like daily logins or progression systems, cosmetic prestige, and whatnot reinforce spending habits, making microtransactions self perpetuating. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Gamers spend more on microtransactions than new games, an article by CCN said. They're here to stay, they're not going away anytime soon because players will just buy them. They literally make more money than full price sales. And that's why microtransactions are here to stay. If you made it to the end of this video, comment something like, just make better games, lol. I don't know, troll me, and I'll see you next time.